Hey, what's up? Welcome to Trading with JP. I'm JP, and in today's video, we're going to do an in-depth technical analysis for the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. So there's a lot of doubt and uncertainty on whether or not we are at the floor, whether we are at a bear market, whether we're in a bull market. So I hope to answer some of those questions for you today. But before we do that, do me a quick favor, smash that like button. It really does help me out, and I check my stats like every 5 minutes. And every time I see +1, it just really makes my day. So help me out by smashing that like button. All right. Now that that's all out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the Bitcoin chart. All right, welcome back to the video. So we are in TradingView and we've got Bitcoin pulled up. But first I want to talk about the way I have my chart laid out. That way you can understand a little bit more. So first I am looking at the weekly time frame. So I want to get a bigger picture or bigger idea of what's going on in the market. So I want to look at a bigger time frame rather than a smaller time frame. Also, by just looking at the chart, you would think that I'm looking at just candlesticks, but this is actually going to be the ashy candlestick. So the difference between these is it helps smoothen out the kind of upswings and downswings a little bit. So here, if we could take a look at this part of it right here, we can see that it's all red. But if I change and go to just the candlesticks, we have a little bit of mixtures of green in there. And so that for some traders, that may potentially indicate, false signals and things like that. So for this video in particular, we're going to go ahead and look at the ashy just to make things a little bit more clear, and identify our downtrend. So as we do that, we are also going to be looking at another indicator for our RSI. So if you go into our indicators and type in ASHI RSI, you're going to have this oscillator, ASHI RSI oscillator by Jay Rogers, and you're going to want to put that in here. So you should get something similar to this. You'll at least be able to see the green and red lines. But what we'll want to do is, if you double click in here somewhere, go to the style and scroll down to the bottom, and this you're going to want to identify these numbers yourself. But ultimately, for my trading strategy, for my extremes, I want to do 20 and 30 levels, and so ultimately that's going to put these red lines and these green lines in this area in here. And the way I read this is potential buy and sells. So for example, as the price is getting into our green area, which is perfect, so that's the first indicator that I maybe want to enter a trade into this market, is as the selling pressure. That's what happened. The selling pressure has taken over, but it's pretty much it's getting ready to lose steam according to this chart. As we scroll out the last long while, you can see that it very rarely breaks out of this zone. So more than likely, our selling pressure is coming to an exhaustion point, and we're going to see the price continue to move in an upward momentum. It's just a matter of how much longer it's going to take to get there. So that's the first thing that I'm doing, is just taking a look right now at the momentum and the trends. So from a trend standpoint, we had an upswing right here. All right. And now we are in a correction. We are not necessarily in a downtrend because we have not broken below our previous low of this $32,000, $33,000 mark. So right now we are still technically in a correction. So we had 100% gain. And then we've lost almost 60% of it now because we are hovering just under this 0.382% level. All right, so that means we can only lose about 38% more of the value until we are down and actually into what we would consider a reversal and a bear market. So we are not yet there, guys. Okay, this still has the legs to continue to keep going in a potential run. So according to our RSI indicator and our potential buy and sell signals, we are coming off this correction. And every time, what happens when we get into the zone, we may see it, for a couple weeks, heck, even maybe a month or so of uncertainty until we see that swing in price. But as soon as it takes off, it's going to take off relatively fast, right? So we are in a perfect opportunity for Bitcoin right now, but I also want to talk about some other cool things that I found. So taking a look at this is Facebook and a guy called Blue Whale with the dollar sign for the blue, and this guy, he's a great trader, and I really like this picture that he put up. So the markets go through different types of phases, right? We reached all-time highs back at the beginning of the year, back in May or June, April, May. And then what happened? People started to panic. There's no way that the price could be this high. There's no way that the price can continue to keep going higher. And we saw this panic sell. And then people got really fearful. Oh my God, the price is never going to go back up. Bitcoin is a scam. I can't believe I missed out, right? There's a whole bunch of fear in the market. But what happens after panic and fear? Hope comes along. All right, we start getting hopeful that maybe this Bitcoin thing will actually work out, or hey, maybe people are going to start investing in Bitcoin again. So we may potentially, as we go, and this is what's going on now. So we've already had this panic stage, we've already had this fear stage, and we may potentially see. The price continue to keep going down just a little bit more, but ultimately we're going to start seeing the price go up just like we did back here. That was a terrible circle. But over here, towards the beginning of August or so. And then, we had a really good 3 or 4 month period of a run. So I think that could be potentially at play in terms of the way things are shaping up. Again, another indicator that we can look at to show us momentum swings is the fear and greed index. So first of all, there's 2 different fear and greed indexes. So there's a Bitcoin and then there's a stock market. So be sure if you're looking at the stock market, and get out of here. We're at a 52 right now. But if you're looking at the Bitcoin fear and greed index, we are at a 24. So extreme fear. We have been for quite a long time. And if we go back to this illustration, we can see that we were in this period and we have been for quite a while. We kind of had a false breakout right here. But typically what happens is every time, we've only been in this low of a range over the course of the last couple years, a handful of times. And what happens after we start to launch and go back into this greed range, what happens is we reach all-time highs. So I do again think that this momentum swing is potentially shifting. So there's been a lot of things that have happened right now that could be giving investors a doubt on whether or not they want to invest into the market right now. So we had, the CPI data was released last week, reporting a 7% inflation rate for the year. So, if more people are spending money on everyday things like groceries, unfortunately, that means less money they have to go into investment opportunities. And a lot of, people probably at this point, you can't even necessarily buy Bitcoin the traditional way, like you would through a 401k plan. And as those things get more and more popular, I think, obviously Bitcoin, we're only going to see the price increase in Bitcoin long term. So right now, we're just trying to figure out are we at the bottom or not? So again, looking at the fear and greed index, looking at the different psychological stages of waves, and looking at the actual technical analysis in terms of the RSI momentum. And where we're at, I see strong signs of momentum coming for Bitcoin. Maybe the catalyst that we're going to need is when the federal government, U.S. federal government, releases their statements on potential regulations for the cryptocurrency community. So, Jay Powell said that they are potentially going to have this report released within the next couple of weeks. So that could be what investors are waiting on. And I think that there's a lot of different things that are shaping up here real quick. So I know I've been talking about Bitcoin for quite a while, but that's what the video was about. So I want to take the quick last couple minutes here just to talk about some other coins that I'm keeping an eye on and where they could be potentially going. So just real fast, let's take a look at Litecoin. I am extremely bullish on Litecoin. We can see that we dip down into our prime area, just hovering right there. We're starting to see that RSI indicator go upwards. We're starting to see a positive price movement candle for for the week as well. So very, very bullish on Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, on Litecoin. Ethereum, we are getting very close to our range. We may be looking at going down a little bit farther, potentially, somewhere down to this $3,000 range. And this could be, again, over the next, week or so. I'm not saying that we can't break 3,000, but I do see that the price of Ethereum is probably going to go a little bit lower. But if we look at this last run, it hasn't necessarily really ever made it into this zone. So this technical standpoint may not qualify for Ethereum the same way that it does Bitcoin, but from a methodology standpoint, we can still expect to see a momentum shift over the next couple of weeks. Solana is another one I'm taking a look at in the same type of range. Right now, we are in the golden zone, what they like to say, at this 50% mark after a correction. If we can maintain that line, I think Solana is going to have a huge, huge explosion. Doge is also shaping up to look really good. So after after 3 waves of, non-successful new targets, we are getting ready to start a 4th wave down here. I think signs of buying pressure are going to be pretty large. Very conservative bet we're going to get back here to these tops, which is going to be about a 34-cent mark. We're at 17 cents right now. Talk about an easy 100% gain. And one other example that I'm extremely bullish on is Link. So we can see that we are in this channel. We're going to have upwards momentum of buying pressure, and we are seeing the price go up as a result of that. We are, we got up to this 0.618 level. We started to see a little bit of resistance. I think that this is going to turn around in no time, and before you know it, we're going to be back up to $34, potentially all the way to 41. So big things on the horizon for Link, I believe. But let's go ahead and take a look at opposite examples. So it's always nice to have, once we're done selling and making money on these, what are we going to buy into next? So a couple on my watch list. Avalanche. I think that we are coming off of a huge buying pressure, and we are just starting the selling pressure. It's just starting to come. So right now, I'm expecting a very large crash coming for Avalanche over the next couple months. So it's definitely something that I want to pay attention to possibly buy in later. Like I said, after I close out my positions on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Solana, Doge, and Link. I'm definitely going to be looking into scooping up some Avalanche. Same thing with Mana. So those, again, are just kind of 2 different examples of how we can see the momentum swings going into our area. They're in this neutral zone. We want to wait till it gets back into our buying area, and then we just ride it out. We can either wait until, go back to Bitcoin, we can either wait until this indicator gets back into our selling zone and whatever price it's at, that's the point we sell, or we can try to use our Fibonacci lines to try to get an idea of where maybe we should set our take profit levels, or we can do a combination of both. But regardless of what your trading strategy is, be sure to have one. So do your own homework. Be sure to invest at your own risk. By no means is this financial advice. It's for educational and entertainment purposes only. And if you've enjoyed this video, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications. All right, guys. Well, that is the video. I appreciate you guys staying until the very end and watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys next week. Take care.